Everybody in the front row, move back one row.
This is a public service.
Yeah, back one row. Thank you. No, just a robot. They do that in that work.
All right, everyone ready to go on the record?
I'm just waiting for the exhibits. And then we're needing to be able to connect the trial hat.
All right, let me know when you're ready.
We're ready, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Parvin, are you ready? State of Arizona versus Lane Jeffrey Myers, IC 003692. Parties, please announce.
Rachel Stiles for the state. Your Honor, we do have the victim present.
All right.
This is William Parham, Mr. Myers. He is present in custody.
Good afternoon, Mr. Myers.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
This is a time set for the no bond hearing. Before we proceed, I do need to let everyone know the court did receive a request under Rule 122 to stream proceedings. I do want to let everyone know that they are streaming on YouTube this afternoon using the court's YouTube channel. So we are streaming in response to that request. State ready to proceed on the no bond hearing?
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, the state calls Detective Eric Brown.
Detective Brown, come on up. I'm going to have you be sworn in before you have a seat here next to me.
Spell your first and last name. E-R-I-C B-R-O-W-N. Do you solemnly swear to speak the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
You're going to want to turn that microphone towards you. All right, Ms. Stiles, whenever you're ready.
Could you please introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Eric Brown, and I am a detective with the Tucson Police Department, and I've been employed with the City of Tucson for 21 years, and in that 21 years, I've been a detective for the past 15 years.
Do you know an individual by the name of Lane Myers?
I do.
And
Good.
do you see that person in the courtroom today?
Yes, he's seated to my left here at the defense table.
Your Honor, if the record could reflect that he's identified the defendant.
I'd like a little bit more on that. Seated at the defense tables.
Okay, would you
He's
describe what he's wearing?
at the defense table to my left on the in the orange jumpsuit with the beard and full hair.
The record will reflect identification of Mr. Myers.
And do you know a person by the name of Shannon Walker?
I do. She's a victim of one of the cases that I've been working.
And how are Lane Myers and Shannon Walker connected?
So they became connected through Shannon's husband, who is a prosecutor over at Tucson City Court. The relationship started, or at least my case started, due to Mr. Myers contacting Miss Walker through the court case through Tucson City Court. That started with phone calls to her office at the U of A, and then him going down to the University of Arizona to try to speak with her in person, which then led to him creating YouTube videos speaking about Miss Walker and her husband and the conduct that he didn't agree with.
I'm going to object on hearsay. I realize the purpose of this hearing, but since everybody's watching on YouTube, I'm just objecting anyways, and the court can explain why that'd be overruled.
So I will overrule. Hearsay is admissible at these proceedings. Ms. Stiles, I am going to ask you to lay some foundation as to witnesses who are going to be available at further proceedings in this trial before you go forward with that, however.
Yes. So, Detective, for this information that you gathered, how did you gather this information?
There were reports from the victim to the Tucson Police Department asking us to investigate harassment charges and later on violations of an injunction against harassment that she had filed against Mr. Myers.
And have you spoken with the victim?
I have.
And are you aware of whether she will be available to testify at trial?
She will be.
Now, the information that you were gathering, was that just from Ms. Walker, or were you gathering it from other sources?
So I was gathering it from Miss Walker, but I was also gathering it from Mr. Myers' YouTube channel that he is active on. I wouldn't say on a daily basis, but he's very active on it. So obtaining videos through his YouTube page and through other YouTube pages that associate with his page.
Were you also in contact with Matthew Walker?
I was, yes.
Okay. Was he providing information to you about what was going on?
He did also provide information in relation to Shannon being contacted due to his work with a case that would involve Mr. Myers over at Tucson City Court.
And in speaking with him, are you aware of whether he will be available to testify at trial?
He will be available as well.
So now you referenced that Mr. Myers has a YouTube channel. How do you know that that's Mr. Myers' YouTube channel?
Because you can clearly see him on the YouTube channel. He appears physically. He often says his name, so it's clearly him.
So in relation to what Mr. Myers was doing with Miss Walker, when did that approximately start?
It approximately started September, October of 2024.
And then how often has this been going on?
So it's still currently going to this date. The harassment that she felt was up to the point where she obtained the injunction against harassment in October of 2024. That injunction was then modified in November of 2024, and it is still active today. And she still is receiving things that are harassing in nature to this date.
Okay. So prior to getting those injunctions, can you just give a brief description of what type of behavior was happening that led to the injunction?
So she was receiving phone calls from third parties. Mr. Meyer went on his page and he was encouraging his followers to reach out and contact Miss Walker in relation to the conduct of her husband, to just let her know that he was corrupt, and that they just were generally not good people, which led to her email and phone number being flooded with harassing emails and phone calls.
And in your investigation, were you able to make any determination about whether there was any connection with Shannon Walker to Lane Myers outside of the fact that her husband was employed as a prosecutor at the Tucson City Court?
No, there was not. To my knowledge, they had never spoken any time prior to the court cases.
Okay. And so you referenced that she got an injunction. And Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes.
I've seen that fake injunction. Don't see. Unlawful. Please don't say.
Your Honor, it's okay, I'm going to approach with states 3, 4, and 5.
Of course.
Looking at 3, 4, and 5, do you recognize those documents?
I do.
And how do you recognize them?
So the first one, Exhibit 3, would be an injunction against harassment that was filed with Superior Court on October 10th of 2024. This is the original petition that Ms. Walker filed for. And then Exhibit 4 is the amended, updated injunction against harassment that was filed on November 14th of 2024 at a contestation hearing where Mr. Myers received a copy of the updated injunction at that time. Exhibit 5 shows here is just minute entries from that hearing, which just verifies that the defendant received a copy of the amended injunction.
And from your knowledge of the case, do those involve the same Lane Myers that's present here in the courtroom today?
Yes, they did.
And Your Honor, these documents are also stamped and signed, so they're also self-authenticating. So I'd move to admit states 3, 4, and 5.
Any objection, Mr. Parvin?
No objection.
We'll show 3, 4, and 5 are admitted. Thank you.
And then you said that in November the injunction was amended. Was that injunction was that served on Mr. Myers?
It was. He received a copy of it on that day on November 14th.
And is that November injunction still active?
It is, yes.
What type of conduct was prohibited in the injunction?
The injunction prohibited Mr. Myers from contacting the victim at all, and then it also prohibited him from posting or displaying the victim's contact information, which would include her work information on any social media platform. He was also prohibited from having any direct or indirect contact with Ms. Walker.
Have there been issues with Mr. Myers posting videos and people reaching out to the victim?
Yes. So he's continued to post her work information to include her phone number and email, to which then she's been getting harassing phone calls and emails pretty much on a daily basis from that time.
Has there been evidence that you've seen that indicated that Mr. Myers knew that his followers on YouTube were contacting the victim?
He's spoken about it on his YouTube channel, yes.
Now, are you aware of charges currently pending for Mr. Myers?
Yes, there are current charges pending.
And how are you aware of those?
I was a detective that investigated that case.
Your Honor, may I approach with state 6 through 10?
Yes.
Could you please take a look at those?
Yes, number 6 is an indictment with Lane Jeffrey Myers listed as the defendant with the counts that he was charged with in that court case. I can read them if you prefer.
Yeah, that's okay. Can you go, and then what's the next document?
So Exhibit 7 looks like the arraignment order and appointment of attorney for Lane Myers. 8 looks like the arraignment order and appointment of attorney for Lane Myers. 9 looks like the arraignment order and appointment of attorney for Lane Myers. 10 looks like the arraignment order and appointment of attorney for Lane Myers. 11 looks like the arraignment order and appointment of attorney for Lane Myers. 12 looks like the arraignment order and appointment of attorney for Lane Myers. 13 looks like the arraignment order and appointment of attorney for Lane Myers. 14 looks like the arraignment order and appointment of attorney for Lane Myers. 15 looks like the arraignment order and appointment of attorney for Lane Myers. 16 looks like the arraignment order and appointment of attorney for Lane Myers. 17 looks like the arraignment order and appointment of attorney for Lane Myers. 18 looks like the arraignment order and appointment of attorney for Lane Myers. And number 8 is the court paperwork for the initial appearance and arraignment, the minute entries from that court date.
And then for the arraignment date, what date was that?
It looks like it was on April 15th of 2025 at 9 a.m.
That hasn't even happened.
Or, no, that's the first date listed here. Let's see. The judge signed it on March 14th, 2025.
So March 14th, 2025?
Yes.
And then what's the next document?
So court 8 was the minute entries from that initial appearance and arraignment.
And again, what is the date on that one?
Also March 14th of 2025. And then Exhibit 9 will be the appearance order with the release conditions issued by the court. And that also is dated on March 14th of 2025. And Exhibit 10 will be the minute entries from the status conference and the media request from dated March 19th of 2025.
Okay, and who is the individual that's for all of those?
And that would be Lane
documents?
Jeffrey Byers is listed as the defendant on all of these exhibits.
Is that, and from your knowledge of the case, is that the Lane Myers that's here in the courtroom today?
It is, yes.
Your Honor, I'd move to admit states 6 through 10. They all have the seal and they all have the signature indicating they're self-authenticating, and he's established the foundation that involves this defendant.
Mr. Parvin, any objection?
No objection.
We'll show that states 6 through 10 are admitted.
So following that initial appearance that happened back on March 14th of 2025, did Mr. Myers post any additional content regarding the victim, Ms. Walker?
He has, yes. To include on March 16th, he posted a video to his YouTube channel called Slapping Style Sanctions. During that video, he did display the active injunction against harassment and did display the victim's work information to include her work address.
Not a crime.
And then on March 17th, he posted another video entitled Publicly Available Public Information, I believe. And during that video, he goes to the University of Arizona's website. He scrolls over her biography page and shows her work phone number and work email addresses again.
And have you had a chance to review those videos?
I have, yes.
And prior to coming here to court today, did you review clips of those videos?
I did, yes.
Your Honor, I'd move to admit states 11 and states 13, which are the clips, and then states 12 and 14. I'm not intending to play, but they're the full videos so that we have them for the record.
This I would object to, Your Honor, because I'm not sure what we're viewing or if you've rehearsed this hearing at this point.
You want to lay just a little bit more foundation as far as what's on 11 and 13?
All right, so talking about the slapping style sanction video, can you describe more of that video?
So in that video, he's discussing the court cases. He's discussing the police reports. There's mention of, in one of the police reports where it mentioned that Lane and the victim were exes. And then he also just discusses the injunction and again posts her information, her contact information that was prohibited by the injunction.
And as far as how do you know that Mr. Myers was posting this?
He was in the video.
And where was this video?
It was posted on his YouTube channel. I believe it was one of his live streams.
And then you referenced that a police report said something about Shannon being an ex. Can you explain that?
Yes, so there was an initial report that was taken by an officer where the officer mentioned that Mr. Myers was Miss Walker's ex, which is not true. But I'm just not sure how that part got into the report. It just was a typo by the officer.
And so was that was discussed in that video?
Yes.
Okay. And the clip that for that video, the slapping style sanction clip that for that video, the slapping style sanction clip, clip that you watched prior to this hearing for the slapping style sanctions, what is that clip showing?
It shows just a portion of that video where it shows the injunction being displayed and the victim's work information being displayed on that video.
And I think, Ms. Stiles, you'd indicated that states 12 you don't intend to play, but it's actually the entirety as opposed to a clip. Is that right?
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Parvin?
Yeah, so the state's intending to play a clip because I have some concerns here about whether any information was shown, at least on one of these videos.
And Your Honor, just for the purposes of this, I'm going to ask just to be able to play it for the court without putting it up on the screen because we are showing information for the victim.
I just want to make argument. At least I'm familiar what I think is going to be shown, but at least on one of these, I'd like to object. I don't believe any content was shown. So that's, as long as I can see it too, I'm fine with that. So I can make arguments.
All right, so I am going to show over defense's objection that states 11 is admitted for the court and the parties to review. I will admit states 12 for purposes of the record. Did you want to go on with 13 and 14 or show 11 first?
I'd like to do 13 and 14 and lay more foundation so then we can view them all at the same time. So as far as the 13, this publicly available public information, what does that video show?
So it's just a video where you can view the computer screen on Mr. Myers' YouTube channel, and he's going to the University of Arizona's website. He clicks on the College of Law page. He goes to Miss Walker's information where it displays her University of Arizona picture. It then displays her work phone number, her work email address, and kind of just scrolls down the information. And he leaves that page, goes to a different section of the U of A website, scrolls down a little bit further, finds a little bit more information about the victim and her job at the U of A. So it does clearly display her email address and work phone number.
Okay. And during that video, is there any audio?
There doesn't appear to be any audio. There is never anything spoken during the duration of that video.
So how do you know that it was Mr. Myers that posted that video?
He admitted to making that video on one of his jail calls.
Your Honor, I again I move to admit states 13, which is the clip, and states 14, which is the full video.
Mr. Parvin, anything else to add to your record?
I'm going to object, but again, I understand the court's ruling on that. I mean, I'll object, then I haven't seen, well, I have an idea of what's in it, I'm just not sure.
All right, so we'll show over defense's objection. I'll admit 13 that the parties in the court will review, and 14 just for purposes of the record. And Mr. Parvin, obviously, if there's anything more on the video that you want to show, those have been admitted, you can certainly do that.
Your Honor, I think this would be a good time for the court to review before we move on to the next portion.
All right, Mr. Parvin is going to have an opportunity to come up as well, so if Mr. Parvin, you want to come up, we'll play this up here by the witness stand.
Sure. This is which one we playing first, or?
States 11.
Is there any way for me to mute this, or do you need me to mute this at all? I don't think so, but.
No, I don't think it's the audio. Yes, absolutely, come on up.
I can turn off the outlet.
All right. I just want Mr. Parvin to be able to. are we moving on to states 12? All right, states 12 will be next. All right, before we leave these, the court has two questions. I think the state had indicated March 16th and March 17th. Where on the videos do you see that they were posted on that date? Or is that something you're gonna get to discuss? I can ask. I mean, he can answer my question as well. So the court's question is for the first video slapping style sanction. How is it that you're able to tell from that video that it was posted on the 16th?
So you go to the direct YouTube page itself.
I need you to make sure you're on the record for this.
Sorry.
So that everyone can
Sorry.
hear.
So the date and timestamp, if you go to his direct YouTube page, it will have a date and timestamp right below the title of the video.
And that was something that you personally observed?
Yes.
And what about the one for publicly available public information? How were you able to determine that that was on the 17th of March?
The same manner.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Sorry.
So, how many followers does Mr. Myers have on his YouTube channel?
Approximately 15 to 16,000, I believe.
And as far as with his YouTube channel, does he have other YouTube channels that seem to associate with his channel?
Yes, he does have some other friends that he will frequently appear on their YouTube channels and discuss the case as well.
Okay. And after these videos are posted showing Ms. Walker's work address and her work phone number, does she get communications from followers of Lane Myers?
She has. Since March 17th, she's gotten approximately 58 harassing emails and 17 harassing voice messages.
Objection. Now we're going past the date of alleged incidents that potential indictments are coming from. I asked for relevance purposes, we stick to the March 17th or before.
I'm going to overrule it. I think the court can consider it for purposes of this hearing. Ms. Stiles?
And have you been gathering emails that were sent to Ms. Walker?
I have been, yes.
And how were you getting those?
Those emails are being forwarded or sent to me by Ms. Walker.
And I'm going to show you what's been marked as States 15. And I'd also like to approach with states 16 and 17.
You may.
And what is states 15?
15 looks like a stack of emails that have been sent to the Mrs. Walker.
Okay, and what is the time frame for those emails?
This one on the top here is March 15th of 2025. We have March 16th, 17th, 18th, the 18th again, 18th, March 19th, as well as a voice message from March 19th and another email from March 19th.
And were those emails sent to Ms. Walker through her email address that had been posted in those two videos?
Yes, to her email address at the University of Arizona.
Do those represent all of the emails that she has been receiving?
No, this is just a small portion of the emails that she has received over the course of all the events.
All right. Your Honor, I'd move to admit states 15.
Any objection?
Yes, I don't know for sure where these emails came from, and they're not from Mr. Myers, so that I'd have an objection on that basis.
You want to lay a little more foundation about where they came from?
What is your understanding of where these emails are coming from?
These are emails that were coming from followers through YouTube on either Mr. Myers' channel or associated YouTube channel. That majority of these emails are speaking about Mr. Myers' case or about her corruption or her husband's corruption.
And these emails in this exhibit came to you from Ms. Walker, is that correct?
Yes, all of these were forwarded to me from Mrs. Walker.
Okay, thank you.
I'd
Anything
move
else?
again.
Anything else, Mr. Parvin?
Just that again, I'm concerned with the dates, past the 17th and also summer before, so I'm relevant concerns on all these emails. There's been no provision from Mr. Myers or who's doing them directly. There's no connection made at this point. I would argue that still have some concerns with the relevance.
I do find that they are relevant for purposes of this proceeding, especially given the date ranges, March 15th to March 19th. I'm going to overrule the objection. States 15 is admitted.
And what were the nature of these emails?
There's a wide variety. These emails go from calling her names, telling her she should be fired from her job, that her husband should be fired from his job, all the way up to wishing death upon her, wishing that she gets cancer, wishing that she outlives her kids so she can see her children die before she dies. It's just a wide range of general threats and harassment in general.
And is there one that's particularly serious as far as the threats to her contained within there? If you want to look through.
Yes, there's one here that was sent on March 19th. It's entitled "You Whore Deserve to Be Exterminated." This one just discusses the fact that he feels that she should be gunned down without mercy, that they hope she experiences a painful death, calls her a degenerate cunt, hopes she outlives her to see her children die before she meets her end. Just basically encouraging her to kill herself and do the world a favor.
And then states 16 and 17, what are those?
So 16 is looks like a 28-second voicemail with the date of 3/16 of 2025 on it.
And then what is states 17?
17 is a 41-second voicemail marked March 19th of 2025.
And those voicemails, how do you know when those were collected?
So these voice messages were collected by Mrs. Walker and then also forwarded to me through my work email, much like the actual paper emails were.
And are these voice messages that she received on her work phone?
Yes, these are voice messages that she received through her work phone at the University of Arizona.
Is that with this number that was posted by Mr. Myers?
Yes, the number that was displayed in the YouTube videos.
And did you have a chance to listen to both of those prior to coming here to testify today?
Yes.
Your Honor, I move to omit states 16 and state 17.
Mr. Parvin?
I have objection. I don't know for sure which one this is. And again, it's on March 19th, which is, I'm not sure the relevance of it compared to what we're dealing with happening March 17th or sooner.
Over the defense objection, I will admit state 16 and 17. And Detective, we're not saying that any of these are actually Mr. Myers. These are other people that are sending these emails and voicemails. Is that
Correct.
right?
These are all other people. These are all third parties.
Okay.
And did you want 15 as well, ma'am?
Yes, 15, 16, and 17 have all been admitted.
And Your Honor, permission to publish those voicemails?
Yes, Ms. Stiles, go ahead. And are you going to play those?
Yes. So I've got state 16 first. So I'll make sure.
And keep harassing innocent citizens, then we're going to make sure we redress you at your house, in front of your neighbors, in front of your family, and let them know what a Nazi piece of shit you are.
I don't think it played the whole thing. Your Honor, if I could play, I think it cut off part of it. Is that okay?
Yes.
Seemed like it.
We're going to make sure we redress our grievances with you, and if that's going to be in front of your neighbors, in front of your family, then so be it. You want to keep it up, then keep harassing innocent citizens, then we're going to make sure we redress you at your house, in front of your neighbors, in front of your family, and let them know what a Nazi piece of shit you are.
And then state 17.
Oh, maybe I should.
Because she's a state actor.
Okay, you know what?
At the University of Arizona College of Law, but yet you filed false charges. I'm curious too how long you dated Lane when he was your boyfriend. Were you betraying Matt when you were doing that? Was this before you and Matt got married? Excuse me. You're disgusting, lady. I can't wait for the world to get sick of your crap. All right, bye.
And that last one we listened to, state 17, was that referencing one of the videos he had posted?
Yeah, so the information from that voice message would have came from the slapping style sanctions video where he's discussing the police reports where it first mentions that Mrs. Walker and Lane were exes or in a relationship.
Other than these two, have there been additional voicemails sent since that March 14, 2025 date to Ms. Walker on her work phone number?
Yes.
And what is the nature of the type of voicemail she's been getting?
Very similar to those voice messages right there, just basically telling her she's a horrible human being, how she should be fired from her job, how she should kill herself, making statements about going to her house or confronting her family in front of her neighbors. It's more of the same thing, but just kind of explained in different methods.
And in your review of both the emails and the voicemails, has there been any additional threatening tones other than what you described in here?
No, they're all pretty similar to that nature and that tone. Just mentioning how she should die and how she should kill herself and how nobody would regret the fact that if she was dead.
And in your conversations with Ms. Walker, has she seemed concerned about these voicemails and the emails that she's been receiving?
Yes, she's been concerned for her safety as well as the safety of her family due to the fact that people are calling and emailing her and letting her know that they're going to try to track her down. There's posts about people requesting someone to post her actual address so they can go to her home address. So she does have some safety concerns as far as her and her family.
And in her expression of the safety concerns, is this just in passing of like their annoyance, or is she concerned? Is it like an ongoing safety concern?
An ongoing safety concern. Like I said, she gets voice messages and emails nearly on a daily basis. So to her, the threat is very real.
Is she concerned about just Mr. Myers, or is she concerned about the people leaving messages and sending voicemails?
I believe she's concerned with both.
In just one moment. And then just Detective, in your investigation, did you find any reason that these people would have been contacting Ms. Walker outside of the connection to Mr. Myers?
No, I do not believe that any of these folks would be in contact with her, or at least even know who she was if it wasn't for Mr. Myers' YouTube channel.
I have no further questions.
Mr. Parvin, cross-examination.
On the first video, you mentioned Mr. Myers allegedly posted the injunction.
Oh, which on the
That a video in the state's exhibit was 11 or?
the slapping style of sanctions video?
Yes.
Yes.
He didn't post any victims' work information on their websites or otherwise. He just talked about a current case he's involved with.
He spoke about the current case, but then he also posted the injunction that physically displayed her work address, and then he actually highlighted it in the video.
He was showing the actual document where it says the residence was confidential.
It showed her personal residence was confidential, and then it showed her employment address, which is what.
It was his court document for that purpose.
Yes, it was his copy of the.
His case.
Yes, it was his copy of the injunction.
He was talking about his beliefs in the case and how he would defend against it.
Yes.
Yeah. There, you mentioned there's no audio on the next video. This is public information.
Correct. There's no audio on that video.
Showing lots of different people and addresses to the University of Arizona.
He did. He scrolled through the victims' information, displayed the victims' information, and then also went to the employment directory. And obviously, he displayed a lot of other folks that work at the University of Arizona's information to then include the victims again as well.
So lots of people were displayed.
Yes.
And he labeled this as public information.
Yes.
And on that first one, the injunction, that doesn't list the email of Ms. Walker, does it?
Displayed?
Well, you said you displayed the court document, the injunction, that doesn't list her email on there.
No, that document does not list her email, no.
It's just the University of Arizona, that's all it said?
Just the College of Law, the address for the University of Arizona College of Law.
Yeah. This happened over the week, like between March 15th, 16th, around that time?
That video was posted on March 16th.
But after the last one was the 17th, is that right?
And then the public information video was posted on the 17th, yes.
Nothing on the 18th.
I'm not sure if he posted on the 18th, but I didn't think that there was anything relevant to this on the 18th, no.
The state actor part. We have to discuss that in this court. It'd be malpractice if you don't.
Do you consider Ms. Walker a state actor?
What do you mean?
Yes, a public employee subject to public information.
Well, she is an employee of the University of Arizona, but I'm not party to what her particular role there is and whether or not she is a specific a state actor, as you put it.
As far as you know, she's a professor, or she works there, or?
Yes, she's employed there, yes.
I want to say that she's a state actor under 1983. She's a state actor under Section 1983, USC 42, U.S. Code. She's acts under the color of state and pursuant to ARS 12751.
Mr. Myers, your attorney is representing you here today, so I need you.
Can I approach quickly on the topic?
Yes. Mr. Myers, I need you to stay quiet.
Ma'am.
Thank you. On or off the record?
Be off the record, please.
All right, let's go back on the record. All right, so Mr. Myers, I know there are things that you want to be able to say, and Mr. Parvin knows the purpose of this hearing today. And this is solely about whether or not the court is going to hold you without bond, and there's a specific rule that the court has to follow to do that. So there may be other arguments if the state does indict you on new charges. That hasn't even happened yet, and you're going to have the opportunity to do that at a later time.
Thank you.
Do you understand all of that? Okay, all right. Mr. Parvin, do you want to proceed?
So you presented earlier a document about what happened on March 14th for an arraignment.
Yes.
Still have that in front of you?
I do not know.
I have a copy as well. I just don't know which citizen state.
The court has it.
Which exhibit was it, Mr. Parvin?
I'm
be-
not sure I
there
have
should
my own
be-
copy of it. Which was it for you?
Which one are you
The
looking at?
I believe it was the arraignment.
I think that may
document.
be maybe eight or 9.
Let me grab those. I'm going to hand 7 through 10 back to the witness. So if you have any questions on those.
So you're talking about the one that says arraignment order and order RE appointment of attorney? That one? Okay. Yes, I have that one.
Can you see what day it was filed?
March 14th.
What about, can you see at the top? That just happened March 14th. Do you see at the top where it says the stamped filing date?
Yes,
What date was that?
March 14th.
Does yours not have a copy that says filed Gary L. Harrison, Clerk Superior Court on March 17th? Do you see where it says this?
No, so the stamp right here, and then it has 25 March 14, and then the timestamp, and then D. Wandale Deputy.
Okay, then I do have a different exhibit because I didn't mine. So, my copy here. I want to argue that it was actually March 17th. I'm not sure why yours doesn't have the filing date.
It has a different, I mean, you can go see.
Do you want to take a look at this one, Mr. Parvin, to see?
Yes, it looks like we have different copies of this.
Yeah, because this one does look like it was filed by the clerk's office on March 14th of 2025. So, and this one's certified by the clerk. So if you want to take a look at that one.
This is April. Okay, and that's the one I copied. I think he has this one as well.
Yeah, did you get that one marked?
This one, I think he's just looking at the wrong one. I see right in front of him, which exhibits. Okay, Sean asked.
Yeah, of
Which
course.
exhibit was this one?
This one right here is Exhibit 8.
Okay. So if he states exhibit 8, the one I'd be looking at then.
All right.
And yeah, and this one is, looks like the minute entries from the initial appearance and arraignment.
Okay. So looking at state exhibit 8, do you see where the minute entries were entered on March 17th?
Are you speaking about the date up here in the right-hand corner?
Yes.
Yes, so filed Gary Harrison, yes, filed 3/17/2025.
Entries?
Yes, the date on that is March 14th, yes.
Yeah. But they were filed with minute entry on March 17th.
Yes, this was filed on March 17th.
And as you previously testified, to your knowledge, the conduct stopped on the 18th. So there's nothing after the 17th. That was the last time.
No, the conduct hasn't stopped.
The last video you hear, so the video on the 16th, I think you said maybe 17th, but nothing on the 18th.
No, so the videos that were presented were from March 16th and March 17th.
Do you have a timestamp for the 17th, or just know it's on the mark? Do you have a timestamp for a specific time on the 17th, or you just know it was on the 17th?
I don't have that information with me today, no.
I have nothing further.
Any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
Would you like me to take that?
All right. Can this witness be excused?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, go ahead and step down.
Thank you, ma'am.
Any other witnesses by the state?
No, Your Honor.
Are we ready for argument?
Yes.
I don't think sure. I mean, I should say today, but I think Mr. Myers has a right if he wants to speak today, but I'm just asking if he wants to.
So, Mr. Parvin, you're the attorney of record today. I know, again, we got started late. It's 10 minutes to 5. We are going to stop a little before 5 so that court staff and corrections can do what they need to do. So if the parties prefer, I know it's an inconvenience, we can come back tomorrow afternoon for purposes of argument if you would prefer to do that, and that will give you time to talk to Mr. Myers.
Because I believe I don't know if he wants to testify. I think we still have a right to present witnesses as well today.
You do.
So I'm asking you, do you want to talk about this, come back tomorrow? Or
Of course.
I think that'd be best. Let me make sure that I thought I actually, depending on the time tomorrow, let me look. Will be tomorrow at what time?
I think we could come back tomorrow afternoon at 1:30 or 2. Let me just check.
2. Today a bench trial did go. It was a quick, so I got it done within an hour. It's probably this one I imagine would also be about the same, starting at 1 or 1:30. So I'd rather do a similar time at 2:30 or 3. I don't anticipate it's taking much longer.
All right. So I can come back anytime tomorrow afternoon. So if you wanted to even start at 2:30, I don't know how much longer we think it's going to take.
It would depend. I talked to Mr. Myers for whether you want to testify or just make arguments, or I would make arguments.
All right, well, I'll let you two discuss that. Let's come back at 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Ms. Stiles, does that work for you and also the victims?
Can we do 2:30 to case that trial? Again, I don't know if it's, I'm worried about. Let's do 2:30 to make sure.
2:30 is fine. So we'll show continuing the no bond hearing tomorrow afternoon at 2:30 in this division. All right, is there anything else then we need to do today? We'll proceed with the defense tomorrow and take arguments.
I have nothing further today, Your Honor.
All right, anything else, Mr. Parvin?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, Mr. Myers, we're going to see you back tomorrow afternoon at 2:30. You can talk with your attorney about whether or not you want to testify.
Is there a way to talk to him without, privately before you get that?
We're out here today to ensure our natural rights are respected by those who swore an oath to support, protect, and defend the rights of the people. The purpose of all interactions is to peacefully promote government accountability and transparency. Please like, share, and subscribe so this message can reach as many people as possible. I implore you to peacefully seek redress to any and all of your grievances. This is a public service.